Hey Harold, DJ Qualls here. You have some questions for your podcast, and I'm here to answer them. So I'll start with the first one. Could you please answer these for my podcast? Do you believe in the paranormal or supernatural? That's an interesting question because I actually don't know what I believe. I do know that I'm not smart enough, or really any of us are, to be able to completely negate something so profoundly huge and unknowable. We don't know what happens next. And I do know that, like, on a physiological level, like my stomach growls, your stomach growls, our bodies are in constant nonverbal communication with each other. Before the theory of relativity, we didn't really understand time-space continuum and all that stuff. So we're constantly finding out new stuff. And so I can't say that I don't. I will say this. Years ago, there's a show called Hollywood Medium, and it's on E! Channel, which could make it easily discountable. But Tyler Henry is the medium. At 19 years old, he came to my house, and I talked to my grandfather. I know I did. And I can't explain it. I can't explain and it wasn't magical thinking. He told me specific things that only me and my grandfather would know. Me and my grandfather were very close. And it was such a real experience. Actually, I was sitting right in the same chair I'm sitting in now, and he was sitting directly across from me. And the producers stopped tape several times because I was leading him. I was over volunteering stuff or over acknowledging stuff, and then started to say things. And they're like, "Don't do that. Don't lead him." And it was amazing. I found my grandfather when he passed, and there was some acknowledgement of that and some apologies in that, and it was pretty magical, and I needed it. This happened so many years ago, and I had not had any real closure on it because I'd never spoken about it, and also because I'd never spoken about it, no one knew some of these specifics that this kid who came into my house told me. It was pretty crazy. And so that's a moment when I say, well, I have to believe in something because I know that really happened. And we only can know what we can see or feel. And I know that happened because it happened right here in this living room. Okay, let's see what else. Have I ever been close to death or been saved by something? So I do have a story about that too. So years ago, I was on the 405 freeway going from Studio City to Santa Monica. And I started having this feeling, this panic feeling that started getting very specific. And then I looked down at the clock on the dashboard, and my brain said I don't remember the exact time, but at like in 6 minutes at 8:51, something's going to happen. Like, I'm going to be in danger. And so I'm sitting there sweating these 6 minutes. And I'm telling you, this actually happened. I would never try to lie about something like this or encourage people to believe in something, because I don't want to be, the reason why people hold false beliefs or exhibit magical thinking. That's what psychiatrists and therapists call the belief in the supernatural, by the way. They call it magical thinking. So I don't want to be a proponent of something that I don't find that didn't happen. Anyway, the clock clicked down to 8:51 or whatever it was, and I'm not kidding, dude. An 18-wheeler swerved into my lane and forced me off the road, but I had adjusted my speed and was ready with the brake. And if I had been in my head, he could have not just pushed me off the freeway, but pushed me off the freeway down a ravine. And I probably would not have fared well from that. I know it happened because it did happen. And I know that I didn't cause it because I was just in my lane thinking, just being hyper alert. And this guy just came right over and pushed me off the road. And so I think I was saved from something. I think there was something maybe in the universe or some person. I don't know. I don't know what it was. But I was aware of it. I was alert. And then when the clock clicked down, this guy came into my lane. So I know that happened. In the same way that I know for a fact that I talked to my grandfather, you cannot tell me that I didn't. I don't know how, I don't know what it means, but I know it definitely happened. And I hope this doesn't feel like I'm taking the easy road out of these questions by saying that I don't know, but I just don't know. I don't know what I believe. Short of an apparition appearing directly before me and doing like Ghostbuster stuff, I don't know that I could ever be 100% sure about this kind of thing. But I also believe that I would be a fool to negate it, and so I won't. Any advice for somebody who's having a moment of weakness? Now, I don't know if this ties into the supernatural. I don't believe it does, so I'm going to answer it in just the way that I'm taking the question. I do have advice for people who are in a moment of weakness. When you're in a place where you feel weak or afraid or you don't know what to do, my best advice is don't do anything. That's actually advice my grandfather gave me. Don't do anything until that doesn't work, and then a path will show itself. But don't react out of fear. Don't react out of desperation. Be non-reactive. And that's a hard adult lesson to learn just in general. I'm in whatever age I'm telling people I am this week. You'll never know. I'm at this age, and I'm still learning to be non-reactive. When we're unsure or we're having a moment of weakness, we go into panic mode, and and your brain wants those feelings to go away. So you could make undoable choices. Unreversible choices, or make unwise choices, or just react out of fear, and you never want to react out of fear or desperation. So just don't do anything. And also, when something terrible happens, wallow in it. When you're feeling bad or disappointed, hurt through that. I tend to do this. When something happens, I want to be able to do this. Well, I knew it. I expected it. Anytime something good happens to me, there's a part of my brain that for years would wait for the other shoe to drop. And so when things turned badly or didn't work out, I'd be like, well, of course I expected that. But that is just to protect ourselves so we don't feel disappointed. But you should feel disappointed, and you should hurt through stuff, and you should wallow around in it. And then I give myself time limits for stuff. When I am going through something, I'm like, okay, I'm going to hurt through this. But there's a time limit on this type of woe is me, wallowy behavior. And once that time limit's up, you have to pick up and move on from it. So, Harold, those are my best answers. And by the way, coming back to my grandfather, Harold was my grandfather's name. So all of this is kind of oddly meant to be. So thank you for asking me these questions, and I hope I answered them to your satisfaction. If not, there's nothing I can do about it. Bye, bud.